My name is Jacob Coffey, and I'm one of the infrastructure engineers at the PSF. 1 year ago, I broke python.org for a few minutes, so it wasn't that bad. I've had the pleasure of serving as an infrastructure engineer under the guidance of E. Durbin, the infrastructure director at the PSF. Pretty interestingly, they have, until I joined, basically been solo maintaining the infrastructure, bar some very, very helpful volunteers. And it's been a very interesting role. I've been there for a year, so it's been a very interesting role this year, to say the least. I've learned a lot, made some incredible connections and friendships that I wouldn't have ever thought possible. And I can honestly say that besides last night with Hennick, it has been the greatest time of my life. I do know, though, the best is yet to come. I'd also like to thank the EuroPython organizers and all of the incredible volunteers for their continued effort into organizing this amazing conference over the years, for all of us to come together, hear some amazing talks, and connect. So a little bit of backstory on what the PSF does and what it is, and what I've learned about it along the way. It's a registered 501c3 organization in the United States. A little bit surprisingly, it's only in the United States as a legal entity. While we collaborate with and help fund larger non-US groups like the EuroPython Society, which is actually a Swedish nonprofit, and support other Python communities globally, we don't hold a legal presence anywhere else. So what does the PSF do? Our technical official mission is to promote, protect, and advance the Python programming language and to support and facilitate the growth of a diverse and international community of Python programmers. That's a mouthful. Yeah, but what is it? So we also manage like the not-so-fun stuff, the day-to-day back office work, trademark enforcement, insurance. We hold the official trademarks for the Python brand and execute legal tasks around that. We're a small but mighty team, empowering and connecting Pythonistas across the globe. Part of how we do that is the grants program. So providing over $3 million US in grants since we started the program. This is supporting Python-related conferences, workshops, and communities that align with our mission. This includes things like regional DjangoCons, PyLadies events, PyTexas, EuroPython, and so many other amazing events. So we truly personify our mission statement of a diverse and international community because in 2024 alone, the PSF distributed $952,000 US in grants to groups in other 52 countries. We also organize PyCon US, so that's the annual conference we have normally in April and May. This year it was in Pittsburgh. We hope to see you guys next year. Not to throw any jabs at the EuroPython folks, but PyCon US is the biggest and coolest Python conference there is. So we also provide fiscal sponsorship for Python events and groups and even projects that relate to our mission closely. This is mainly to offload accounting burden and other back office tasks that normally they would have to hire a full-time person for. We take on that weight so they can just focus on their thing, whatever that may be. So despite managing a budget on the order of around $5 million a year, the PSF only has around 15 employees and a few contractors. Other than the two of us on the infrastructure team, the remaining people handle PyCon US, so that's like venue contracts and organizing the conference for 3,000 people, which is a big task in itself. We have people for sponsor relations and also PyPI support. We also have 2 employees that serve as security engineers. You probably know them from around the web. Seth Larson, our security developer in residence, who helps improve the overall security posture for Python, if that includes like CPython or PyPI, maybe even popular Python packages and more. And Mike Fiedler, who focuses primarily on PyPI, serving as the PyPI safety and security engineer. We also have 3 contractors that focus basically exclusively on CPython. That's Lukasz, Sergey, and Peter. I think 2 of them are here this week. And I would really like to say that none of it would be possible without the seemingly innumerable number of volunteers that serve across many teams. This could include like mail administration or community moderation, If you've been on Discuss, sometimes it gets a little crazy. CPython development, PyPI administration, and so many more places that volunteers serve. You really quickly learn once you're plugged in or have to work there every day that there's no one piece that makes everything work. The staff handles some portion, volunteers handle a portion, and sponsors also support us in a whole host of ways, whether that's monetary donations, in-kind donations, letting us use their very expensive services for free, or staff secondment, where employees from these sponsors can help work on projects that may be mutually beneficial. If you work for one of our sponsors, the PSF, and I thank you for your contributions, no matter what they are. If you would take this message back to work with you and show them how much we appreciate it, it would make me very happy. I've really learned that it takes a village to accomplish everything that Python does. There's just such a big reach that we have. It is the #1 programming language this year. So part of the infrastructure management at the PSF includes services like PyPI, CPython buildbots and documentation builds, mail services for core developers and staff and board members, and so many other services that would take me more time than my time allotted to list off and explain. And part of how we do that is our sponsors and strategic partners. They help really make it possible. So an example of this, through our strategic partnership with Fastly, we were able to serve just under 9 petabytes of bandwidth across 154 billion requests. This generates tons of log data and metrics and events, and all of that was just in June alone, and just for PyPI. That's not for any of our other services, not for python.org, not PyCon websites, or anything else. So the scale for that alone, and for a staff size of 2 on the infrastructure side, is, at least to me, very, very impressive. So Fastly is not alone in their support. We receive big help from AWS, Google, and Microsoft that would otherwise incur many, many thousands of dollars per month in costs, showcasing how important our sponsors and strategic partners are. So there are volunteers here and there, but I do want to reiterate what I said before. We've been at this scale for years, and it keeps growing. And until July of 2024, it was more or less all maintained by a singular person on the PSF staff, E. Durbin, and they deserve more credit, accolades, and recognition than I could articulate or provide in any one conference. And I'm not just saying that because they signed my paycheck. So as someone who gets to see how much various people pour into the Python community, I can truly say that they go above and beyond their job role and deeply care for and fight for what is best for the PSF and the Python community at large. So part of their work, thankfully, we have a lot of the PSF structure automated. So we have GitOps infrastructure that ensures smooth deployments, a home-rolled platform as a service named Cabotage that we use to deploy PyPI and Python.org, code speed testing, and if you ever submit a patch to CPython, you'll get bugged by the new CLA bot that's also deployed there. And we very recently added our first external customer, the PyLadiesCon site, and soon they'll have some more services set up. And we have a little ways to go, I'll say that, but this is one of the major goals with our platform as a service. Provide dead simple infrastructure that can be consumed by trusted members of the community for projects that align with our mission, like the PyLadies conference app. Maybe even EuroPython could take advantage of this. This helps alleviate costs and management overhead for their services and volunteers, and so we really think it's going to be a great thing. Fun fact, Cabotage deploys itself on Cabotage. You can check it out on GitHub. Just search up Cabotage. So one of the first things I got to work on was our infrastructure management back in July 2024, and I had to know how to handle outage events on call for some of our core services like mail or downloads, where we all download our Python binaries from, and the buildbot used to build Python on so many different platforms. So we already had a good volunteer group around PyPI, so that could wait a little bit. So during this onboarding, I realized that there's a lot of different silos with various volunteers. There's postmasters with mail, a section of core developers that just focus on buildbot, people that do wiki work for the Python wiki, and so many more examples. And I feel like I might be gushing over this volunteer bit a little bit, but this is truly a love letter to those that are able to freely give their time, their nights, weekends that could be spent with their children or on other more fun hobbies, perhaps. Their impact is felt throughout the lives of Pythonistas globally, even if their work may not be publicly recognized. To be a part of that, for me, especially being paid for it, is amazing. So a little bit about the day in the life, what I do at the PSF. There's no one day that looks the same. We cover so many areas, and requests come in from community members, volunteers, or staff and board members, that it just all shifts around so much. Pressing matters pop up, especially like when we approach PyCon US. You know, we have to shift around a lot, so no 2 days look the same. We could even receive funding from various groups that necessitate us prioritizing security on PyPI or other critical infrastructure, or as core developers like to do, right before a new Python version is put onto beta, I think, whatever stable is before you can't add more features. They like to add a bunch of work for us to do that. So it could even be a new greenfield project that could benefit us, the staff, or the community, and we just have to see what happens to get the ball rolling on that. So there's many interesting discussions during also our monthly board meeting, which kind of gives you like a forest level view of how the PSF manages resources across the globe, including voting on grants and hearing reports from the board members about Python in their areas of the world. One note on the impact of not having enough support staff is that our existing staff of 1 for infrastructure was spread pretty thin. So that negated any chance of getting everything done. It really negated any chance of feature development unless it was critical. So with me onboarding, I was able to assist in some of like the more critical upgrades that needed to happen, and that will eventually allow for accelerated feature development that the community or staff have been asking for. One of the great first year things I got to experience was an invitation to GitHub Universe. We were able to do 3 days of team building, enjoy some really great talks, and we met the team that supports the PSF and got some insights into future development at GitHub. And I even got to meet a few sponsor connections to pass along internally. Overall, it was an amazing trip, and it allowed me to do things like meet people that were in college that were just excited about Python, excited about the PSF and getting involved, or startup founders that have built the core of their business on Python. Everyone was very excited, even though it was a language agnostic conference. They were very excited to talk about Python, which pumped me up. One thing I'm pretty excited about this year and going forward is joining and volunteering separate from my full-time work, is joining the CPython triage team. While I haven't gotten to do much besides small code reviews and some infrastructure work, which feels like my day job, but that's okay. I'm excited to ramp up and join them again this weekend during the EuroPython sprint and at the core developer sprints in September. I've been thankful to have great collaboration with Hugo van Kemenader as a mentor, as well as fantastic motivation from people like Savannah Bailey, who's our first keynote speaker this week. So a little bit about the last 12 months, just in review. I've gone from first week outage firefights, keeping the infrastructure humming with E, to trading ideas with GitHub engineers at Universe, and feeling Python's global pulse through students and founders alike. Even if my evenings stay packed, I'm eager to channel all that energy into the CPython team, where every patch reviewed and sprint that we go to sharpens the language and strengthens the community and helps keep our favorite language the #1 language in the world. Some lessons learned: ask early and ask often. So working across very large code bases with wildly different functions and various programming languages even, we use a lot of TypeScript, which is sad for me, but it's okay. It's tough as a new person to just jump into this wide range of things to work on. So set yourself up for success by doing this. which also goes hand in hand with my next item. Having a supportive team and manager really makes a world of difference. I've been very fortunate to have good managers and colleagues throughout my career, but this role is markedly different in the level of support and empowerment. And I wouldn't say that's totally due to the scale of our company, our 12, 15-person company, compared to the massive 70 to 90,000 companies that I've been a part of, but it's definitely felt. Also celebrate tiny wins. Don't just expect some gigantic celebratory thing, like do the little things to keep yourself going. Also, TLS is hard, and I'm not going to extrapolate that. Show of hands, who has published a package to PyPI? Awesome, most of us, cool. Who has filed an issue with us? That's CPython, repo, python.org, PyPI. Who's opened an issue? Maybe we broke something, or you had to yell at us, put it back. Awesome. So I can't say all of this awesome stuff without inviting you all to join in with us. As I've been showing you, there are many places to get plugged in. So let's go through that. Why volunteer? People volunteer in our field for a lot of reasons. To improve your skills. That's why I jumped in before I started the PSF. The fun of it, or the confidence boost you get from seeing people literally around the world using something that you've put out into the world. Whether you're trying to pad your resume with a cool new library or contribute to the CPython interpreter, or just want to improve documentation for something that you used to struggle with so that people that come after you have an easier time, your impact is felt and appreciated and wanted. No one wants to read source code because the documentation was non-existent or needs a rewrite. You could be the one that changes that. Where you volunteer has so many opportunities, at least in the Python ecosystem. So documentation or non-code or even infrastructure-related contributions for various projects across our core organizations. That's github.com/python/psf/pypi and /pycon. 4 different organizations that have a host of repos that are just teaming for you to document or help with CI if you love that kind of stuff. There's also work groups. These are a mix of volunteer and staff or board-led groups that address specific community needs. They all have an initiative-based project that helps support the PSF mission for growth and sustainability. I think we have around 7 or 8 now. There's code of conduct, diversity and inclusion, education, fellows, grants, the job board. We have even a trademarks working group. And none of these are even related to code. So if you don't feel like you maybe have the expertise to push to CPython, which we do have mentorship programs to get you to where you do have the expertise, or if you just don't feel like coding after a full 8-hour workday of coding, so these are a great fit. They're much lower on the commitment hours required, but they still have a profound community impact. There's also core contribution on the core team that's directly contributing to CPython. There's a pathway on the dev guide to become a core developer, which involves becoming a member of the triage team, reviewing patches, pull requests, backport management, labeling issues and triage. But you're assigned a mentor to help you along the way. It's not like you're thrown into the deep end to figure it all out. There's also our meetups and workshops. These are regional conferences and workshops that promote collaboration and education throughout the global Python community. This is in places that PyCon US can't normally reach. So examples, EuroPython, we're here. PyOhio, PyTexas. I hear there's a really cool PyCon Greece coming up in August. As a side note, I think the organizers for PyTexas, as an example, do a really good job with consistent meetups outside of their annual conference, and that includes a mix of in-person and virtual meetups where people can come and chat. So if you are thinking about joining in one, contributing to one, or even starting your own, that's a great blueprint to go off of. So join in on an existing meetup to help run it, start a workshop in your area, or launching your own regional Python chapter is encouraged. I think there are around 1,600 right now, user groups worldwide, but a lot are not active after 2020, and you could be the person that revives interest in the local user group in your area. I think there's a list. If you look up local user groups on the Python wiki at wiki.python.org. find out more. So what's next? What else can we do to advance the PSF mission and push Python further than we thought possible? If you have ideas, we want to hear them. Whatever your expertise or interest, there's a spot for you to contribute. You don't have to code, or you could code all you want. Next year, we're going to host our annual PyCon conference in Long Beach. We invite you to join us. We're excited to see you, hear your impromptu lightning talks, and collaborate. And I hope you feel energized or encouraged to find a place to plug in and contribute to the Python ecosystem. The community of Python has, as long as I've been a part of it, always been top tier. So get plugged in today so that you can change the trajectory of your career, find ways to kill your weeknights, meet new friends, do something other than binging Love Island or Severance, out now on Apple TV+. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Jacob. It was very interesting. Are there any questions in the audience? Okay. I don't... Oh, there is one. Okay, perfect. So I can drop my silly one.
Hi, Jacob. Thank you for the talk. Can you mention top 3 challenges, technical, non-technical?
So one non-technical thing is that due to the large reach of Python and the number of volunteers that we have from literally all across the world that have different perspectives and opinions, is that it's more of like a technical or not a non-technical challenge. It's just being able to like properly deal with people. Ideal is not probably like the right word, but just knowing how to synthesize all of that from so many different opinions. That's a definite challenge. It's a good challenge, but sometimes it's tough. Technically, just the scale of what we're doing, it's massive, and it's a lot to work on. So for me, that's pretty daunting. So
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, so mine would be related to eating your own dog food. So if you look at the code base that's running Python.org or PyPI, is it modern Python? Is it a good inspiration if you want to improve your Python skills?
That's a good question. I was informed, I guess I should have known this, but I was informed that like people will look at PyPI or Python.org as like a reference for like a good application to base theirs on. And that makes sense, like hearing it now or then, but yeah, it's very surprising to do that. One of the things I think Henrik was talking about during his talk yesterday, or after the talk, was how PyPI organizes modules inside of the repo, and like that was a good reference for like some things that he uses at work. Also, so I help maintain Lightstar, which is just a web framework, and so one of our reference applications uses that same type of modular thing. So yeah, definitely good reference.
Okay, thank you. That's encouraging.
Yep.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, so thank you again.
Thank
Please
you.
give another round of applause.